Today, I'm going to share how to develop resilience so you can bounce back quickly and overcome any challenge you face at work. Hi, and welcome back to another segment of Triple T, where I reveal my top tips and tricks to help you excel at work and reach your highest potential. I'm Allie, and today I'm going to share my top tips for developing resilience. Have you come across a situation that required you to be resilient? If so, what strategies did you use to bounce back from that situation? I'd love to know, so make sure to leave a comment down below. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and grab a drink, and we'll get started. Everyone faces disappointment at some point in their work or career. Whether it's from not getting a call back for a position you applied for, to losing a promotion, or even being laid off, no one can escape failure. And I bet right now as I'm talking about this, you're thinking of the laundry list of times you've been screwed over by a coworker or rejected for an opportunity you wanted. It's nothing to be ashamed about. Trust me, I have enough rejections and failures to write a novel. The problem is that whenever life throws a curveball our way, we can't just curl up into a ball and cry about it. We have work to do, and life isn't going to stop for us just because we're upset. That's why it's important that we develop our resilience. People who are resilient are able to bounce back when times get tough. They're master rebounders who grow with each challenge they face. So, how do you develop your resilience? Is this something that can be learned? Absolutely, and I'm proof of that. Even though it sucked having my publications constantly rejected or watching months worth of research go down the drain, these experiences gave me several opportunities to toughen up and develop my resilience. And I'll let you in on a little secret. The reason why I have a novel's worth of rejections is because I developed my resilience. Instead of wasting time sulking about my failures, I got up and tried again. And I'm extremely excited because I get to personally share these tips with you today. So if you're ready to bounce back and effectively navigate any challenge you face at work like I have, then here's my top tips on how to develop resilience. Tip number 1, accept that bad things happen. Have you ever seen someone have a series of unfortunate events happen to them and then magically bounce back as if nothing happened? You can't help but look at them as if they're crazy. Even you would have a hard time getting by if these things were happening to you. You must be hiding it, right? No normal person would react this way. Well, not necessarily. This person simply realizes that things happen, and chances are that something similar, if not worse, has happened to someone else. And this is what sets resilient people apart from the rest. They recognize that their life isn't going to be perfect. So if you want to be more resilient, then you need to accept that bad things happen. Now, let me be clear, I'm not telling you to welcome disaster with open arms. What I am telling you is that you need to acknowledge that you're going to struggle at some point. It happens. Just don't make a big deal about it. This is not only going to help you see that you're not alone in these situations, because, well, everyone has bad experiences at some point, but it also makes it easier for you to rebound from your situation and start making progress again. So if you want to be more resilient, then you need to accept that bad things happen. Tip number 2, avoid the victim mentality. What makes resilient people so incredible is that they're able to take action in the face of adversity. This is because these people don't see themselves as victims of their situation. They understand that they have the ability to control and modify their situation if they so choose. So if you want to be more resilient, then you need to avoid falling into the victim mentality that there's nothing you can do, and instead concentrate on the things you do have control over. That means that any time and energy you have should be directed towards what you can do. Now, there are some days where this can be a little difficult to do, so something that I do is build myself up. So I'll first start by doing smaller tasks that I know I can control, and then gradually work up to those larger tasks. This is a great way to help you feel more empowered and confident that you can handle any situation. So if your goal is to develop your resilience, then you need to avoid the victim mentality. Tip number 3, take accountability. Resilient people have a knack for being rational about their situation. They see things as they are. So it shouldn't come as a surprise to you then that they not only see how they have control in a situation, but how their actions led to a situation to begin with. So if you want to be more resilient, then you need to take accountability for your actions. Reality is, no one's perfect. So be honest with yourself. How have you contributed to your current situation? And the key to this is to be gentle with yourself. Nothing good comes from being overly critical about your mistakes. Instead, you need to show compassion and forgiveness. Do this, be accountable for your actions in a gentle way, and you'll not only develop your resilience, but you'll have a greater understanding of how your actions led to these uncomfortable situations, and hopefully be able to avoid doing these actions so you can avoid these situations altogether. Tip number 4, tune into the good. One of the reasons why it's easy for resilient people to not dwell on their mistakes or bad situations is because they have such a positive outlook on life and their future. And the secret to doing this is surprisingly very simple. Be open to the world and tune into the good things around you. That's it. Spend some time every day to acknowledge the positive things around you. It's quick to do, and hey, it shows us that the world isn't as dark and dreary as the news paints it to be. Who doesn't want that? So if you want to develop your resilience, then you need to tune into the good. It'll not only make you stronger as a person, but you'll be much happier and have a greater appreciation for when things go well. Tip number 5, get uncomfortable. When we see resilient people not even be fazed by some of the worst things life can throw at them, it's hard not to see them as these superhumans who are gifted with these amazing powers at birth. But the reality is that resilient people work hard to get where they're at, and it's by constantly pushing themselves past their limits. You see, they realized that the best way to get stronger was to prove that they're tougher than they thought. And that means deliberately putting themselves into difficult situations. So if you want to build your resilience, then be prepared to throw yourself into uncomfortable situations. You never know what you can achieve until you do it, right? The only thing I recommend is that you be mindful of which situations you throw yourself into. Anything that's too difficult will only crush your confidence in the end. So be aware of your limits. Otherwise, if you make an effort to work through uncomfortable situations you come across, then you'll receive a large confidence boost and obtain the power to bounce back from any situation. Tip number 6, learn stress management techniques. At this point, you probably think resilience is the end-all be-all to your problems, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. You're still going to come across difficult situations, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have to constantly push yourself past your limits. And at some point, the stress from it all is going to get the best of you. So if you want to build your resilience, then you need to learn how to cope with stress and anxiety. And the best way to do that is to test out different stress management techniques. Go outside and get some exercise. Meditate if that's your thing. You can even pull out a funny YouTube video or podcast. Laughing's been found to be a great way to improve your mood quickly. Something that's personally worked for me is just reaching out to people close to me and having them listen to my problems. As I said, everyone's different. So try out as many techniques as possible and see what works best for you in your schedule. These will go a long way with helping you overcome any stress you feel during these tough situations and make it easier for you to build your resilience. And there you have it, my top tips for developing resilience. Use these tips and you're going to be able to handle any twist or turn life throws at you. Now, as I said in a previous tip, optimism and resilience go hand in hand. So if you're struggling to be more optimistic at work, then I highly suggest you watch this video next, where I reveal my top tips for being more optimistic at work. And before you go, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It helps me get my video out there and lets you know when I release new content. Otherwise, it's been fun having you today. Until I drink again, take it easy. Bye. I've been working hard today and I deserve this, so you're gonna watch me treat myself. Hopefully you have something good like this as well to eat so you can join me. If you have something that you're eating right now, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, cheers.